SpongeBob has always been known for its crazy humor and over-the-top situations, but that hasn't stopped fans from coming up with even weirder stories about life under the sea. So, do you think you know the wildest theories people have made up about Bikini Bottom and its residents? The secret ingredient. Have you ever stopped to wonder why Mr. Krabs is the only crab in Bikini Bottom? Doesn't that seem way too weird to be just a coincidence? Well, there's a pretty dark theory that tries to explain it, and it's considered one of the strangest in the entire SpongeBob universe. According to some fans, the reason there are so few crabs around is because they're the secret ingredient in the famous Krabby Patty. And it gets even worse. The Krusty Krab itself might actually be a trap in disguise, created to lure in and capture more of Mr. Krabs' kind. Many were caught and just disappeared. But if Plankton ever found that out, would he still be so obsessed with the recipe? And what about the customers? Would they keep happily eating there? Think that's disturbing? Hang on, it gets even darker. Have you ever noticed Mr. Krabs doesn't have a wife? Nobody knows what happened to her. And yes, some believe she ended up on the menu too, served to some clueless customer by her own husband. Could Mr. Krabs have fed his partner to someone without them ever knowing? Just how many secrets are still buried beneath those calm ocean waters? Sometimes, the darkest answers start with the simplest question. Why is there only one crab in Bikini Bottom? Come along with us now as we dive into the mysteries of Bluey's amazing world. Another ingredient. As if all that wasn't already disturbing enough, there's another theory that's even more unsettling. Some fans believe the real secret ingredient in the Krabby Patty isn't crab meat, it's whale meat. And this is where things get seriously dark. According to this theory, Mr. Krabs didn't adopt Pearl out of kindness, but out of strategy. She would be his backup plan. If he ever ran out of whale meat, he already had another source, living right there at home. Creepy, right? But some people take it even further. Many believe the meat used in the burgers actually came from Pearl's mother. That would explain the huge mystery of why she's never once appeared in the show, even after over 20 years of episodes. Where is Pearl's mother? Why hasn't she ever even been mentioned? Could the Krusty Krab's success be hiding a sinister past, buried deep beneath the sea? How far would Mr. Krabs really go for money? SpongeBob is a zombie. As the SpongeBob seasons went on, something strange started to happen. Little by little, the characters we knew started to change, especially SpongeBob and Patrick. A lot of sharp-eyed fans picked up on this and came up with a creepy theory. What if the two of them actually died in the first movie? There's a key scene in the film where SpongeBob and Patrick leave the ocean, dry up, and end up stuck on a rock, completely dehydrated. It's tense and emotional. And according to this theory, that was actually the real end of those characters. What we see starting from season 4 are copies, or worse, zombie versions. And for a lot of fans, it makes sense. It explains why SpongeBob, who used to be naive but still pretty smart, suddenly became way more childish and silly. And Patrick, who used to show moments of real cleverness and even wisdom in the early seasons, became incredibly dumb. There's even a weird biological reason backing it up. When a sea sponge or a starfish dies, others can regenerate from its fragments, meaning they'd be new organisms born from the remains of the original body. So SpongeBob and Patrick would technically still be alive, but they wouldn't be the same. They'd be regenerated versions with almost baby-like minds, like newborns in adult bodies. Totally weird, right? But could all of this really have been part of the plan? Before we keep going with the 8 weirdest SpongeBob theories ever, drop a comment below and type bikini. Squidward, the nanny. Everyone knows Squidward hates his life. He can't stand working at the Krusty Krab, is constantly annoyed by SpongeBob and Patrick, and seems to be forever stuck in this boring routine. But what if all of that was just a cover? There's one surprising theory that could totally change how we see life in Bikini Bottom. According to this theory, Squidward isn't just a grumpy neighbor, he's actually SpongeBob's private nanny. That's right, a nanny. SpongeBob's parents are supposedly super rich enough to buy a house deep underwater and hire someone to watch over their son without him ever realizing it. Why? Because SpongeBob may have a condition like ADHD or attention deficit, which would explain his hyperactivity. impulsive behavior, and constant shifts in focus. His parents, wanting him to have a normal and happy life, created an illusion of normalcy. They bought him a house and moved Squidward into the one next door, gave him a huge salary and a comfy home, all under the disguise of a regular neighbor in a normal daily life setup. And now everything starts to make sense. Why doesn't Squidward ever move away, even though he clearly hates it there? Why does he put up with SpongeBob and Patrick's craziness day after day, even though he's clearly got talent in music and art? And how does he even afford that house just working the cash register at a fast food joint? Maybe the answer is hidden in a secret contract, signed by billionaire parents and tucked away somewhere deep in Bikini Bottom. Could the whole neighborhood just be a giant stage play, created to protect SpongeBob from the real world? Nuclear testing. And just when you think you've heard it all, hold on a sec, because this theory might be the darkest and most realistic one yet. Some fans believe that Bikini Bottom is actually the result of nuclear testing. The name Bikini Bottom wasn't chosen randomly. It's a direct reference to Bikini Atoll, an island in the Pacific Ocean that was used by the United States during the Cold War for nuclear bomb testing. Between the 1940s and 1950s, dozens of powerful explosions devastated the area, and that's where everything starts to click. According to this theory, those tests released insane levels of radiation that affected the marine life living just beneath the atoll. And what happened? Genetic mutations, the rise of creatures with human-like behavior, the ability to speak, awareness, emotions, and that's how SpongeBob's world was born. The theory even points to a strange detail. In the show, there's a small island with a single palm tree that shows up more than once. It looks almost exactly like Bikini Atoll itself. Coincidence? Or a hidden clue left by the creators? And now's the perfect time for anyone who hasn't yet. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss any of our new videos. Mr. Krabs. Not every theory about SpongeBob is centered on SpongeBob himself. Some go deep into one of the oldest rivalries of the show, Plankton versus Mr. Krabs. But what if Plankton's obsession with the Krabby Patty secret formula is actually rooted in something much darker? According to a disturbing theory, Sheldon Plankton is on a personal mission of revenge. He believes that Mr. Krabs is the one responsible for his mother's death. That would explain why he spends every waking moment trying to destroy his former friend, and why he's so obsessed with uncovering the formula. It's not just about the recipe, it's about understanding his enemy's mind, getting close enough, and striking back when the time is right. But here's the strange part. It's been over 20 years, and Plankton still hasn't pulled it off. He's come up with hundreds of inventions, disguises, and traps, but always fails. That raises an uncomfortable question. Does he really want to win? Or has this endless chase become a permanent obsession, one fueled by pain, guilt, and confusion? Maybe the secret formula was never the real goal. Maybe all of this is just a desperate attempt to understand why Krabs took everything from him, even his sanity. The 7 Sins. At first glance, SpongeBob seems like just a goofy cartoon about a sponge flipping burgers under the sea. But what if I told you that beneath all that colorful fun, the show is actually a symbolic representation of the 7 deadly sins? That's right. According to a fan-favorite theory, each character in Bikini Bottom represents one of the sins. Could this underwater city actually be a twisted mirror of human flaws? Patrick is basically a rock, who lives under a rock. He sleeps constantly and thinks slowly, when he even thinks at all. If there's a patron saint of laziness, his name is definitely Patrick. Gary, the snail, looks cute, but he's always hungry. He meows like the world's ending if his bowl's empty. He's the definition of gluttony. Squidward lives annoyed. He hates noise, his neighbors, and his job. Anger seems to be the only thing fueling his dull daily life. Mr. Krabs is pure greed. He's obsessed with money. He's literally sold his soul. And even SpongeBob, for a couple of coins. Plankton can never be happy with what he has. He's a straight-up reflection of envy. Sandy Cheeks is strong and brave, and makes sure everyone knows it. Her giant ego is definitely ruled by pride. SpongeBob, in the end, is excess in sponge form. He works too much, loves too much, laughs too much. Coincidence? Maybe. But when all the deadly sins live together in one hidden ocean town, schizophrenia. Think you've seen it all in the SpongeBob universe? Then get ready. This one's going to mess with your head. According to some fans, SpongeBob's story might be way darker than we ever imagined. And it all starts with a family secret. There's a theory that SpongeBob's parents are actually siblings. Yup. And that disturbing origin could explain his childlike behavior, how he acts silly, innocent, and sometimes totally out of touch with reality. Based on the theory, SpongeBob suffers from conditions like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or even developmental delays, all managed secretly without him realizing it. His parents would visit often, checking in to make sure he wasn't having any serious episodes, but it goes even deeper. Some fans believe SpongeBob never left a hospital. That's right, he's actually been institutionalized the entire time. And everything we see in the show, it's all in his mind, a world he created himself, where every character is a reflection of his emotions, trauma, and deepest desires. Patrick, for example, would be the best friend he always wished he had, a loyal buddy who never judges and never leaves. Squidward would represent the bullies from his childhood, people he tried to win over, but who always ignored him. Mr. Krabs? He'd be that greedy adult who pretended to be a friend just to take advantage of SpongeBob's kindness. And Gary? He'd be a mix of the voices of his parents in his mind, loving, caring, but also distant and aging. Always around, but never fully there. Even Sandy would have a hidden meaning. She'd be the symbol of SpongeBob's idealized version of love. Now think about it. What if this entire colorful, silly, adventure-filled world is just the way a broken mind copes with loneliness and pain? Are we really watching a fun cartoon or a silent cry from someone lost in his own mind? In the end, maybe SpongeBob was never just about laughs and burgers. Maybe Bikini Bottom is actually a bright and bubbly metaphor where every character represents the flaws we all try to hide. And if that's true, maybe we've got more in common with these sea creatures than we'd like to admit. If you're into Bluey and other animated shows, we've got 2 awesome videos we think you'll love. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.